Hello and welcome to this video. This is part 2 of the, gosh, I don't remember what part 1 was called, but you'll recognize the whiteboard behind me. We'll call it Truth. That last video got cut off a little bit early, and then I filmed another video, and I just couldn't quite get it all together. I was feeling a little scattered that day. And so let me just back up. Speaking of scattered, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this now moment with myself and with one another. My intention with all of these videos is to assist in raising the frequency and the vibration with one another and on Mother Earth. And I get a lot of downloads and activations while I drive, but I've been trying to do less videos while I'm driving and just do more when I'm actually able to sit and kind of write all the information down. So this video, I talked briefly about these two stars. So I wrote a lot of stuff in flow. I didn't want to erase it all and rewrite it. So apologies for the mess. If you want to, you can screenshot it and then zoom in if you can't see any of my writing. The theme for this, and this is I'm gonna move into some flow, so I've got to get this off of my whiteboard so that I can move on to the next subject. This is an ongoing subject. This isn't like it's over because this video was put out. You can come back to this. And what I had seen was essentially, I'm going to use my board here. Essentially what I had seen is that a lot of people are, let me just get rid of this. So this is not truth. This is not the truth of who we are. I just had that written up there in the same colored marker. Essentially, more and more of us are recognizing the truth of who and what we are, which is love, light, and connection to source energy, and creators here on Earth. So I really enjoyed, I'll do another video with a bunch of shout outs to a lot of different teachers who I really love and listen to. Guys, I listen to people all the time. I don't just limit myself to one particular person or one particular group. I am a jack of all trades, and I'm also open to listening to everything. What I do though, is I see what resonates with me and what doesn't. And if it's not a truth, it doesn't feel true to me, I'll feel it in my gut, my heart. I'll feel heavy, and I immediately shut it down and I'll try something else. And I do a clearing real quick, like, okay, cancel, clear, delete that. I'm not going to buy into that energy. It doesn't resonate with me. Everybody is different, and everybody has a different truth. So I just want to put that out there. And my intention is always to be very open-minded and open-hearted, and I invite you guys to be the same way, especially when watching these videos. So I'll just continue and say this is not a light language video. So if you're waiting for light language, it could happen. But this is a Keep It Simple Starseed video with just a little update on what the energies that my guidance team and my higher guidance team that I connect with are my guides, ascended masters, archangels, angelics, galactics, beings that are my ancestors from higher dimensions, and all versions of myself. So that about covers it, right? Mother Earth. So what was coming through essentially is that we've got this 3D, and oh, I want to back up. I was talking about the shout outs. So I had originally done this video, and I was referring to third dimension and fourth dimension, or third, fourth, and fifth dimension. And I popped onto a video the other day, trying to remember the name of the guys, but it's Rion and Alexander. I'm sure you guys, many of you guys know who they are. I will put up a link to their site. Now, they are very galactic, so if you're not into that sort of thing, then that'll be a little bit odd, but they're very galactic. They do great little Coffee with Rion and Alexander videos. I don't watch them all the time, but I was guided to watch one, and I only could give it about 5 minutes because of my time that I had to be somewhere, but I got what I needed to from it. I'll go back and watch more of it, and I'm sharing that with you guys too, because don't feel like you have to dedicate so much time to these videos. Watch what you can, but it's always a good idea to go back and finish what you started watching so that you can kind of tie it all in together. But sometimes it's right then with what you've got is what you need, what you needed to hear in that now moment. And I really liked Rion's reference to density versus dimension. And I'm kind of sharing this. This is going to lead me into my next video, which I will stop this one and redo that one. But I'm getting a lot of references to the letter D. And I know that it's going to take me off onto a rabbit hole, so I'm down a rabbit hole, so I'll go get to that later. But I feel like my guidance team is trying to get me to understand this, and I wasn't quite wrapping my left brain around it. And I really like the way Rion and Alexander put it as density versus dimension. So a dimension is, and his is they were explaining as a place. Third density is not the same as third dimension. And so when he said that, I went, oh, that is cool. I like that. I like that description. So I'm piggybacking off a little bit of that. But you guys, that's kind of how this works. When we went to school and we were taught certain things, we based our reality based on what we were taught as the truth, which leads me back into my theme today for the Keep It Simple Starseeds. Oh, that looks like black, but it's not, which is truth. And so we're kind of coming back into the truth of who we are. Okay. So density versus dimension. So I'm going to say that this is 3D is a lower density, which I've said this before, but I liked his description of it. So I talked about lower densities, right? Third dimension is a lower density dimensional field from my perspective. And you can kind of go through and see what resonates with you about densities and dimensions. You can watch their video and go from there. I didn't watch the whole video yet, so I got to go back and give that one a try. Again, I'll provide the link. So fifth dimension, to me, is a higher density. It's not as dense. It's not as heavy. It's lighter, right? And so, of course, when we're talking about these things, what I had drawn in the previous video, so if you haven't watched that, I invite you to go back and watch that video previous to this. I've got this whiteboard behind it with truth and emoto on it. I did it just a few days ago, and today is April 1st. So I'd seen these two stars, and you've got people that are, the invitation was not to be aware of what truth we're basing our reality off of. Are we basing it on the old truth based in an old dimensional, lower density perspective, or are we basing it on the new truth of the new recognition of who we are? So being aware of the words that we're using, and I'm recapping that. I'm going into a little bit more detail so I can erase this. So if you're this star and you're in a lower density and you feel like you're unattractive, you feel like the world is working against you, you're depressed all the time, or you know a star that feels like this, because we're all star seeds, right? We all come from the stuff of stars. But let's say you're in this vibration. We'll call this a frequency, and we'll call this the lower density in the third dimension, okay? That ability to go in and out of the third dimension to the fifth dimension is basically not happening for those beings who are stuck, or they feel like they're stuck. And what happens is you have this star, and this particular star, seed or star, we're going to call that a being, thinks everything around them is ugly. They think everything is wrong with them, and they're basically using words that have a lower density vibration attachment to them. And that's where I had drawn Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto. I'm sure many of you guys have heard of him. If you haven't, Google him, look him up. Did the water experiments. I've referred to him many times in my videos. Or the rice experiment, but we'll use water as an example. So you've got water crystals, and you use the word ugly. Taken under a microscope, a picture, it looks like this. Somebody uses the word beautiful, and it looks like this pink, beautiful star in a beautiful shape, in a beautiful fractal picture. All right? So the point in sharing with you is these particular beings are going to continue to be stuck in this density. And so if we are working on raising our frequency and raising our vibration, though I've done other videos where I talk about we can assist each other by doing that, by just living in our own truth. But the words that were coming through for me were, be aware of the words that we are telling ourselves. Be aware of what we are offering into the field, and be aware of our body as being a field. So as above, so below. Everything that's going on in here is going on out there. It's a mirrored reflection of what's going on in here. So that's a whole other video. But briefly, if you continue to, and not you personally, if we continue as a being to really engage in these words constantly, that's where we're staying. It doesn't allow, it's dense, it's heavy, it's holding us down. And so we're being invited to see the truth of who we really are. And in truth, by the way, I wrote a motto next to truth because if you look up the website, truth has a vibration and it's beautiful. So that if truth is a beautiful vibration, then anything that looks like this, sickness, ugly, victim, is not the truth of who we are. So that's one bubble. And I'm sharing this with you guys because there's multidimensional and many perspectives of looking at this. So on a physical scale, these are feelings that are associated with these words. And then what happens when somebody's feeling this way is they have these thoughts, right? Then they might say these words. Then they turn into actions and they do things or don't do things based on this feeling of being not worthy, we'll say. So this feeling of unworthiness comes through, and then what do people do? Well, they go into a depression. They don't do activity. I'm hearing they don't take care of themselves. They don't brush their teeth. They don't take a bath. They don't exercise. You know, we've all been in those states, not necessarily not brushing our teeth, but we've all been in places where, you know, you just, when you're depressed, you don't feel like doing anything. And that space of not doing is actually doing a lot because you're here. This is doing something. This inactivity, it's not that space of non-doing like the rishis and the, sorry, I'm off on several tangents here, talk about. That space of non-doing means just being in a space of clarity and allowing. Inactivity and not doing anything and not taking action because of this is actually an action, if you think about it. Because you're having all of this going on, and by eating the wrong foods and constantly reinforcing this dimension, this density, is creating this connection. I'm hearing hooks into this third density or third dimensional, which I know can be interchangeable, but they're not exactly the same. I understand that. But anyways, that's what it's like. So if we have friends and family that are here, we certainly might be here, happy, love our bodies. Even if we don't love everything about our bodies, we love the fact that we have a body. We love the fact that things work. We love the fact that we can see a beautiful sunset, or we can see, you know, feel things in our heart, right? That's what I'm speaking about. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, everything is sunshine and rainbows all the time. We can oscillate in and out of this. That's what that wave is. However, now, what happens is when we are in our truth, that's where we are, right? And I brought this up because we're being asked to be responsible, to hold accountability for our thoughts, words, actions, and deeds. As creators, we are manifesting faster. We are making our reality faster than we have been in the past. And if that's the case, if we're here all the time, we will continue to manifest more of being here all the time. So you have these thoughts about everybody doesn't like me, for example. I'm going to use this as an example. We're going to go to victim mode. Or I was wronged. Or this person, I deserve this mistreatment. Whatever it might be, okay? Those are thoughts and words, feelings, okay? And then the actions that we take are, let's say, talking about it. More talk. Telling everyone that we are mistreated and woe is me. And I say this with love, you guys. I've been there. Okay. And so we might get into that space where we want that, you know, we're trying to draw in love from an outside source, and that creates that victim mentality. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, of course, that isn't the truth of what we really are. We're being invited to empower ourselves to stabilize and hold the field of oneness. And holding the field of oneness means we are together in this. It doesn't mean, from an egoic perspective, that the world revolves around us. It means that we are in unification process of connecting with Mother Earth, connecting with our fellow beings and light workers, and we are taking responsibility in our actions, even if we aren't taking action. Meaning, if we go into a grocery store and we bring this light into that space, that is an action, that is an intention, and that is a responsibility. We are responding with our abilities to raise the frequency and the awareness with one another. So what message should come through for me is, be aware of what we're buying into. So buying is payment, okay? It is an exchange of energy is what buying is. You are offering something in exchange for something. And oftentimes, the words that we use are buying into an energy pattern that is then, therefore, creating the energy around us. So, for example, I hear the term a lot, 100%. I use it. We all use it from time to time, right? But what is it really 100%? You know, and then the other term I hear a lot of is, mine that I used to say a lot of was, that's so true. Oh, that's so true. I caught myself saying that all the time. Now, I'm just coming out of that a little bit. And I'm kind of calling myself out on it when I hear it kind of happening. So, again, what is it? What's so true? Is it true? Is that my now truth? And that's leading me into my next bubble, which is, this may have been our old truth. We may have been mistreated. We may have felt unloved. We may have felt unworthy, unrecognized. We might have been hanging out with friends that were not necessarily good influences, meaning those friends may have made us feel like we needed them, and that might have been like a victim-controller relationship. It might have been that we, whatever it might be, that might have been where we were. But now, are we that being still? And I would venture to say no. If we can see, right, through this new truth that's being offered, this new light, that this upwelling is coming up from within us. So I'm just inviting that we don't have to be here all the time, happy, love my body, bless everything, I'm responsible. But it is saying, I feel angry, I feel alone, I feel unworthy, and not stewing in that soup, which is a lower density soup, which is bubbling on purpose, which brings me to ascension symptoms, to allow the fat to bubble up to the surface so that we can skim it off the top and let all of the ingredients come together in a beautiful broth, okay? So, again, we're being invited to take responsibility for our vibration and frequency and to take our ability to take action. Okay, so payment and buying. That's also a reference to energy. Buying into something is a belief system or a structure. So this was a belief system. This was something we may have bought into. We gave this belief system energy. Now it is an old story and we've turned the page to this page, or we're wiffle-waffling back and forth, which is fine. Being in that space of acknowledgement and integration is important. I'm here. I want to be here. I choose to integrate this energy and take control over my life. Not doing drugs, not drinking, eating the right foods, not falling in line with these old habit patterns, recognizing the patterns when they come up, and feeling yucky is okay. Go exercise, take a yoga class, go to a meditation retreat, treat yourself, rather than going out and getting hammered with your friends, go out, maybe have a glass of wine if that's your cup of tea, go home, take a hot bath, drink a bunch of water. It's all about integrating those energies and finding harmony and not being from one end of the spectrum to the other, but anchoring the energies. Okay? So that's the energy that was coming through in one end of the spectrum. That's physical. Now this leads me into ascension symptoms. Ascension symptoms is another belief system. Anything can be a belief system. Just like we can worship anything. I could worship Oreo cookies if I really wanted to. Sugar, whatever it might be. So that belief system, I'm going to use ascension symptoms as a bubble. I wrote a few bubbles over here, and I'll kind of get to that in a moment. Before I move on out of the physical, remember you guys, one of the things that I share with Dr. Emoto and also Heart Math is that our energy is, I love that sign, take responsibility for the energy you bring into the space, at a workspace, at a family reunion, you know, in a grocery store. That's kind of what this is all about, is empowering ourselves to be responsible and not walking around with this dark cloud around us, because other people can feel it. That energy goes out 5 to 8 feet in general from the heart around our bodies. So that means we're having an effect on every person, place, and thing we come into contact with. We're having an effect on our animals. We're having an effect on the earth. So I'll touch on that before I get into the into the bubbles. Had a hiccup there. So taking responsibility and going into that meditation and going into the heart, and even just saying positive affirmations, and do anything you can to shift that, moving into that field and out of that I am alone. We are moving back into oneness with one another. So that's really important. Also, the reason I share this is because the message that came through clear as a bell was, don't dump on the earth. So the earth is not our dumping ground. One of the things that I don't know about you guys, but one of my pet peeves is when I go to the beach and everybody thinks that the beach is their ashtray. First of all, that's a whole other topic. The earth is not here for us to dump on. We've done enough of that. All right, we're moving forward, up and out, guys. So what are we buying into? Are we buying into products that are not recyclable? Are we buying into things that are toxic? Are we buying into things? Granted, there is a balance between that, and that will eventually come where those will no longer be a bigger part of our reality. But in the meantime, making conscious choices, being responsible for our actions, and not buying products that are tested on animals, for example. That's just a little blurb here. The other thing I want to lead into is don't dump on the earth. It's not just about anchoring and grounding our information. If we're walking around in this field of woe is me all of the time and not being willing to work through it is a word that comes through, but it's not just work through it, integrate those emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel alone and isolated. But those working on integrating those and connecting with beings who can assist us with that is part of what this is all about. Now, moving forward from that, however, it's not their responsibility to solve our energy imbalances, right? It is our responsibility to take the information they provide for us and to allow it to shift our frequency. So it's not just about asking for help, it's about receiving the help that's been offered and not being vampiric about it. So oftentimes people don't realize when they're just sucking in, and I don't mean like you can't get enough light language or you can't get enough of this particular teacher or this particular light worker. That's great. I go through that too. I've gone through that. I go through phases where I just want to take in all that information because in that moment, that's what I need to be taking in. However, there comes a point when that becomes full and I'm ready to use what I have allowed to shift my frequencies to then do my own work. Whether that be artwork, working with children, creativity, it's not about what other people are doing. or what other people are telling me to do. It is about coming back into my own power, being here, and creating my own field, okay, and not pulling in this other stuff from other people, which is a whole other ball of wax. So being aware of when we're drawing in, you know, we're not relying on other people to fix us because we are already healed. It's just a matter of coming back into the truth and oneness of realizing that and realizing that we really are bigger than we think we are. It's getting out of here and getting back into here, which then allows this to clear and to connect with our higher guidance team, which is really plugging in right now if we're open to it. So the earth is picking up these frequencies as well, not just on the physical in the form of what we're energy exchanging, buying into, paying for, right? But the earth is also assisting us, but it's a mutual relationship. So we're also here to assist Mother Earth. So how can we do that if we are not moving forward, allowing activations to occur, doing the things that we came here to do? So again, connecting with the earth, and even if you're having a day and you're feeling really depressed or anxious or whatever, go out, take a bath, you know, take a shower, visualize that water rushing over and cleansing and purifying, being grateful for the water, being grateful for the air that's coming in to cleanse out the lungs, and just picturing all of that crap leaving on the exhale. Maybe laying down outside or putting your feet on the earth is important to help release all of that energy. But while you're doing that, feeling gratitude and appreciation. Thank you so much for helping me transmute this energy, Mother Earth Gaia. Thank you so much for all of the food that you bless us with. Thank you for the air. Thank you for all that you provide. Thank you for the trees. You may not feel happy, and you might feel miserable or unhappy. And admitting that and allowing those energies to kind of get out of you, the earth will transmute those. That's what she's here to assist us with. But in doing so, what are we giving her? And sometimes it's just gratitude. It's an exchange. It's a payment, right? It's one for another. It's balance. It's harmony. So it's okay to go out and let all that stuff go and dump in that regard, right? But also sending it back in. Wow, I feel so much better. Thank you. Go plant a tree, you know. Do things that, you know, make you feel better, and do things that the earth will benefit from as well. Make it a mutual friendship. Okay, so ascension symptoms. So we're talking about in the bubble, as above, so below. Some of what we're buying into are matrices. And I talked about this a lot in some other videos with the whiteboard behind me, but ascension symptoms, I'm going to go into this in several different details. I still get them. I have decided to change my wording around it and not call them symptoms. Oh, I forgot to go in here. So we're going to go into a little bit of flow right now. And I ended my last video with this, so I'm just waiting for the internet to come up. So when we buy into certain matrices, so when I first started waking up, I would listen to someone and I'd go, a lot of the doomsdayers, because I was really into the truthers, and I love the truthers because they are telling the truth from their perspective, which is correct. And so I really was into all of the truth out there about our ancestors, our star brothers and sisters. And a lot of the truthers were just talking about some really dark things, like we're being, I won't even go into it. And I was like, I had this meltdown when I first started hearing about it because it was true to me in one way. And so I kind of freaked out a little bit about it, like, oh my goodness, we're not alone, which I always knew, but some of the stuff that was coming through was very dark and heavy. like we've all been brainwashed and there are all these people in control. And that is true to a certain extent. And I fed into it. I bought it. I paid it with my energy, and I was depressed. I'm getting goosebumps about this because I know somebody out there is feeling the same way. And I went through months where I got sick very soon thereafter, after I had some. That was a major download for me. That was a major activation. I've got goosebumps everywhere right now. That was an awakening moment for me. But at the time, I wasn't stabilized enough in my own truth of who I was that I was buying into this truth of one perspective about how things went. And I'm not saying that the galactic wars and all this isn't true in one dimension. But there's so many more truths and so many more dimensions. And so I fed into that, and I couldn't get enough of it, and I got emotional, and I just felt me move into that realm of it's the end of the world, right? Fear and doom, and I better start preparing. And then we went through this, so it pulled in all of this energy for me. So on one end of the spectrum, it was a beautiful awakening moment and a beautiful activation for me. It didn't feel beautiful because from this perspective, it was doom and gloom. Now, from here, I was getting ascension symptoms. I was feeling unworthy. I was feeling like I was pulling in entities, etc., etc., etc. Now, mind you, I'm sharing this because others out there are going through this or have gone through it. I was also clearing for the collective, for my family and friends, as all of us are. So I was feeling their stuff, I was feeling my stuff, and I was having activations, and I was having realizations about our truth, of our history, and where we really come from. And it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. So I fed into that for a while, and I couldn't get enough of it, and then I kind of felt a shift to here. And I thought, I have to love my shadow aspect. So I integrated the shadow aspect of myself, which was bringing all of this stuff up, the unworthiness, and sometimes that's what that integration is all about. And then it was easier for me to oscillate in and out of that once I went through that. And this is another video, I'm going off on a tangent. But symptoms. So the word for symptom is, well, this is off a dictionary. A physical or mental feature which is regarded as indicating a condition of disease. But what I look at is an undesirable situation. But what I really like are the synonyms. This symptom is an expression, a sign, an indication, a mark, a token, a manifestation. Those are the synonyms. I'm getting goosebumps. Those are. So that's what the words are. So I'm going to say that again. Symptoms. Okay, so let me just, well, I won't need to write it down. Symptoms. Expression, sign, indication, mark, token, manifestation. Thoughts, words, action, deeds, creation. There's a few similarities there. Now, on a physical scale, we are having these symptoms because our bodies are changing. Our bodies are shifting, and we are growing and evolving. So we're going to have these symptoms, right, that are showing us that we're changing. Our chemicals in our body are changing. Our brain is rewiring and remapping. Our symptoms, heart palpitations, feeling like the floor just dropped out from underneath us, vertigo. The crystals in our bodies are changing. Our crystals in our ears, we have crystals in there. I mean, I could go on and on. Water is changing. Our bodies are 70% water. So physical symptoms will occur. The question is, are we spending more energy and time and buying into a matrix where that is our new story? So that was the message that was coming through, is that thoughts and words turn into actions or deeds that become a creation or manifestation. So I should have put feelings first, of course, because what we're feeling is really what we should be paying attention to, because our thoughts and our feelings sometimes are not connected. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't. We could be feeling one way and thinking another and go, well, who does that belong to? Is that coming from TV? Anyways. So a symptom is a bubble, and it's a belief system, and essentially the message is, let's not pay too much attention and time to that specifically. It can be do what you need to do to integrate it. So if you need to take a rest, take a rest. If you need to drink a lot of water, if you need to cut out certain foods, if you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. But again, we're being invited not, if you guys are familiar with Eckhart Tolle and the pain body, it's another great teacher. You know, our pain body, how many of us know someone who has been injured and that's completely changed their life? Or maybe we're one of them. I used to be sick all the time when I was younger. My truth was that I was always sick. That's what I said. And I'm not meaning this right now, I'm just saying it. I would say, used to in the past, I'm always sick. My back always hurts. Oh, I'm used to that. That's normal for me. Words. Then that created this pain body around me, and I got more of that. I got more pain. I got more discomfort. I was on, then I felt like, okay, I needed to take medication to sleep because I was in pain. And then the doctor told me, you probably have trouble flying because of your back pain. I should give you this. And I said, okay. So I'm just using that as an example. Thankfully, I didn't really ever feel a need to continue that usage. And I recognized within me that it wasn't something that I needed. My higher self was really helping me out with that one. Some people don't. They get addicted to these things because that becomes part of their pain body, which is their body, which is their manifestation. And stepping outside of that and recognizing that we are not our pain is a big part of all of this. We are not our ascension symptoms. Our ascension symptoms are something that will pass unless we keep feeding them, talking about them, talking about them, talking about them. It's okay to talk about it. But again, it's not that constant exchange of energy, okay? So that's one bubble of reality. And I kind of touched briefly on truthers and the truth. I'm a truther, obviously. I'm all about talking about where our real roots are from. I'm all about talking about our DNA and our star brothers and sisters and all of that. However, are we here about it, or are we here about it? And we're being invited to have this beautiful marriage of the two, of forgiveness. And that's a whole other video. But that's another bubble. That's another matrix. And that's, are we here about it, or are we here about it? And the other message that was coming through is, we are the Galactics. Granted, it'd be cool if we could really connect on a visual, physical level with our brothers and sisters, and in some dimension and in some realities that will happen. It already has happened, right? And it will happen. However, are we feeling really disappointed all the time and sad because it hasn't happened, or we feel like we need to be whisked away in a spaceship in order to be happy? And I know there's some people that are like, yeah, I want to be, that would be really cool. Or some people don't want that at all. Ultimately, it's all right. It's all good. The question is that the belief system that we're buying into that isn't allowing us to anchor the energies that we came here to anchor and to assist in anchoring fifth dimensional Earth? So, you know, getting angry over it and getting frustrated over it. When am I going to? Or why haven't I? Oftentimes we have and we just don't remember, right? Connected with our galactic brothers and sisters. But I wanted to share with you, we're doing it now. That's a whole other video. We just don't necessarily realize it because we don't see it. Seeing is not believing. Feeling is believing. Okay. Religion, social, technology, I don't know, can't read my writing, politics. All these little bubbles these can all be healing. The event, that kind of leads me back to the visitations and all that. Guys, that's cool. I hope it happens too. It's going to be awesome when it does. sidebar. Are we here or are we here about it? So again, are we going to be in a place of fear? And then when we have these visitations, are we going to feel if everything is benevolent for all? That's a whole other video. So the symptoms and the truth is religion. So now what's happening is everything's been shaken up and we're being invited to recognize our new truth. It might be based off of maybe you love Jesus. I love Jesus too. Maybe you love Buddha. I love Buddha too. I love everything, but that's benevolent. But I even love my shadow, which isn't always benevolent for all. Benevolent, anyways. Make a long story short, all right? Let's go into this a little bit though with the what we're feeding into. So again, these old religions are going to have to be revamped on a new platform. They can't be here anymore. They have to be here in order for them to last. And so rather than feeding into the old ways, maybe taking a solid foundation of love and light or Christed energies or whatever it is that we wish to support, right? Pay into, tithe, give our money to, give our energy to, base our belief system and structure around. The new truth needs to support that, or whatever those platforms are. We'll call these all platforms need to support that. And so where before it was relying on somebody else to heal us and to provide us with what we need, now it's working together to communicate to the body to assist one another in what we need. I don't heal anyone. They heal themselves. I facilitate a frequency and an energy for them to feel safe in, that they can connect with their higher aspects so that we can all work together as one and continue on our journey wherever that may lead us to. And we're all the same way. So rather than me saying, here's my power, I now trust fully in you and expect for you to tell me what to do next, that needs to be with source energy, our higher selves, not some extraterrestrial, not some politician, not some religious leader or guru. So, again, feel here, because there will be many people that come forward to say this is the new truth, and that is based perhaps on their thought process still stuck here, that maybe they're oscillating in and out of here and they've pulled from here, but they're still in a lower density. And you can feel that. It resonates once you are open to this. And if you can't yet, that's okay. It will happen. If it doesn't resonate with you, maybe it's not for you in that moment. So just, we're being invited to be responsible and be aware of what we're choosing. Now that everything's being shaken up and these old systems can no longer exist in here, right? Why would we support something that is maybe a false new reality or false new truth? Gurus that are coming forward that are pulling from these other doctrines, taking bits and pieces, but still aren't here, aren't any better. If somebody's saying I'm right and they're wrong, then perhaps that is still based off of this, which is in the process of reworking itself, right? Okay, last but not least, the grids. I talked a little bit about what anchoring means, and I'll just talk about that briefly. So this is a very broad perspective, and it's just one out of the many. So this was my little donut, which is the earth. It's really hard to see, I know. So let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. I can get rid of all that. Okay, so this was my beautiful grid, kind of hard to see. So I've got Earth here, okay, and this is, we'll call it 3D. Guys, this is not how this really works, really, but it is a good description. And now we've got this, how I see it as a donut, okay, and this is 5D. Doesn't that look like the auric, the etheric field, the causal body, the emotional body, the etheric body? So, pretend that this is a grid. So the grid for New Earth is here. Right? Okay, that was a whole other video that I did, so we'll not worry about that. I'll do that next. So now you've got this 3D, and let's say that this looks a little wavy, right? It's 5D Earth is already here, guys. It's just a dimensional aspect. So these are existing parallel to one another. Now, some people say that we're on a brand new planet. Oh, I forgot to mention these words. Last but not least, when I was saying about pushing those energies into the earth and give it back a little love, another belief system is that end of the world kind of belief system. Earth is dying. From one perspective, the old earth could be, it's not how I feel, but that's a whole other ball of wax. We're all in our own perspectives. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be doing things to help Mother Earth. But I don't want to keep telling Mother Earth that she's dying. Oh, you're dying. If you keep telling someone that they're sick and you keep telling someone that they're no good, or you tell someone that they're not well, it's an energy. Again, this has a shape to it. It either looks like this or it looks like this, right? Forget my little dark squiggles. Okay? So I would like to tell, this love to Mother Earth. Okay? Even if you believe that she is, and that's your belief system, and that's what you're paying into or buying into, let's not tell her that. Let's do as much as we can to assist and help her. And say, you know what? We're here now. The extraterrestrials haven't come yet. They haven't landed. The politicians haven't lifted us out of this. Nobody's come to rescue us yet. So rather than wait around, we're being invited to take responsibility in compassionate action and do things that will help Mother Earth. If it's about being sustainable energy, let's make that happen. If it's about blessing the earth and planting crystals, let's make that happen. Whatever your gift is, whatever you feel drawn to that's going to raise that frequency and raise that vibration, that comes into this. So what I want to share on that note, this is one perspective. So again, it's that idea that we've now shifted into the fifth dimensional and old earth is now going off in that direction. New earth is going off in this direction from the bifurcation split. If that's your belief system, fine. I'm going to play with it from this angle, this other perspective. From one of my perspectives, we're expanding. So if we're expanding, hence why everybody's been feeling pregnant and bloated, right? We're birthing, so is Mother Earth. As above, so below. So let's say that third dimensional reality is birthing and expanding out and becoming larger. The plates are shifting. The oceans are expanding. The mountains are rising. So on and so forth. So I'm just using that as an example. This isn't, this is just for fun. So we can really just, that's kind of a fun, imaginative way to think about it. Now, if that's the case, we're expanding out into a more expansive version of fifth dimensional, right? Because if you think about it, density is heavy, higher density expands out. So that's just one perspective. The other thought process is we're anchoring the grids onto Mother Earth. So, oops, there goes my mirror. Sorry, buddy. Come back. You're all right, but Hobie, you're all right. My little dog. Okay. My whiteboard's falling apart. So now we've got these grids. I drew them up here, and you've got your one grid, which we'll call 5D, or a certain density, or we'll call it, I picture these grids like these beautiful nets of gold frequency, whatever. So electricity, we'll call it. But let's call this 5D, and we're going to call this other one grid, which is underneath it. See them overlapping? If you can see my awesome artwork. Okay. And of course, they're multi-dimensional. Okay. And this one is that's pretty awful, but you get the idea. Okay. So now you've got all these grid points, right? So, I've done worse. All right, so you've got these grids that are overlapping, and we're going to pretend that these grids are not square. They're more of a pyramid shape or round. We'll just say that they're round, but at least you can see that one's over the top of the other. Now you've got this Rubik's Cube that's here, and you've got this Rubik's Cube that's here, but they're really round, right? So what's happening is this one's expanding out. Some might say it's collapsing. Just for fun, let's just say it's expanding out. Earth is expanding. And then this new grid is overlaying on top of it. And they're combining these energies. And so that's where these waves and these lines are braiding together is a lot of the messages that I'm hearing. And so you've got certain people that are here. We'll call these little dark spots, right? Some are here, low. And then you've got your stars, star seeds. Some star seeds are in this low density too. They just haven't woken up yet. And there's others that are here. So I'm kind of going off, right? They're in here and they're anchoring this grid. I always think of Guardians of the Galaxy. If you guys seen Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a fun movie. But in Guardians of the Galaxy, they've got those planes. They don't really necessarily, I don't want to, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it, fast forward this. But these planes interlock, and they interlock and they create this web of energy so that the dark forces can't get in. It's this golden energy. And the movie doesn't really work out quite as well for them, but picture this golden frequency of this net just kind of enveloping Mother Earth. And as these kind of lock in and create roots, it goes into the ley lines. It goes into the, and we're feeling it because we are part of it. As above, so below. So now we are part of this grid system. We are the grids. And so we are bringing in this energy in and hugging our brothers and sisters, so to speak, with this light. And some of these beings are so dense that they don't know what to do. They're freaking out, right? So, okay. So this to me is the truth, right? So, oh, that's the point. I was going to go back. So the truth is now, now our truth is either based out of here and here, or it's based out of here and a more expansive. I gotta close my door. Hey, thank you. Such a good guard dog. Okay, so that interlaying, and we are anchoring these energies. And let's say we anchor in, and we're anchoring in around here, and we're anchoring in around here, and we're anchoring around here, which then threads through these energies. And so then we're able to connect more on these grids. And I think of that connect the dots kind of thing. So we're connecting these dots, and I'll do more videos on this. But essentially then it becomes fifth dimensional or higher density, if you want to think of it that way. And it allows us to feel more of the truth of who we are, rather than being stuck in here. And this is assisting our brothers and sisters who are stuck. I had a video about the zombies the other day, you know, warm bodies and references to that. You know, all it takes is one of those zombies for their heart to start beating again and go, oh, I do have a heart. Wait a minute. This isn't what I thought it was. And boom, they light up the grid. And so we're lighting up these grids where we are, you guys. We're where we are for a reason. We're anchoring those energies. So even if you're in a space of third density, low vibration frequency, and you're working through some stuff, but you're doing the work to get through it, and you're oscillating in and out, or you're doing what you need to move forward, you are assisting in raising your own frequency, which is anchoring in this energy, which is anchoring in the grid system. So whether you realize it or not, you're working for the greater, I'm getting goosebumps on that. So a little love from so I'm being guided to do a little light language. So I'm going to end with a little light language. to help anchor those densities. To work through some of those denser energies, to celebrate anchoring those densities, those energies, and freeing up some of those particles. So, I'm being guided to just kind of share like a video game. So this is happening, and now all of a sudden, this guy is no longer here, and that's no longer there. That little piece is gone, and now this is all red. I'm just using that so it's lighter color. And they're up here, right? That's how it works. Boop. They might oscillate. We all do. We all did. Be careful what I'm speaking my truth about, right? So nice big breath in and out. This is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear level. Intention is to assist in anchoring the frequencies of the higher dimensions, the higher frequencies of love and light. This is for the collective. I'm going to move this board because it might echo. So bear with me. All right, here we go. Very hot. I'm hearing, as the universe expands, so too do we expand. As we rebirth new possibilities, new creations, we allow ourselves to create from this knowingness, the truth, of all that we connect with is of us. Alright, I'm being guided to say about the Buddha and about Christed energies. Those are frequencies, and that Buddha was Siddhartha and Christ was Jesus, and they became these frequencies of love light. There are so many teachings about this. We're all working in a unification right now, and they're all assisting us. These energies are helping us, as they always have, because there is no past, present, and future. Everything is happening now, and being aware of what the truth is of what really happened may not be the truth of what really happened that we've been told, right? So again, let's build our new earth based on the new truth of what really is for us. Not on separation, not on war, not on the need to compete, but the need to complete this unification of oneness. For that is all that stands in one, that stands. Taking a stand for what you believe in that is from love and based off of that's it, not some old belief system. And also I'm hearing a reference, guys, to bullying. So this is coming up. I'm going to do a separate video on that. Guys, if someone's being, we'll do another video on that. Standing up, that's the truth. The truth is, if someone's bullying someone else, that's not right. That isn't based off of some belief system that somebody told you that's not right. It feels, that's an example of a truth. Not like, don't do that because this will happen, because this is what you were told. That's old truth. Don't do that because that's just doesn't feel good. That's wrong in the sense of it's the opposite. Not wrong. Cancel here, delete that. It's the opposite of love and light. Whatever is the opposite of love and light and harmony is obviously something to stand for in truth, right? So being kind to our fellow beings and not treating them as if they are unworthy, because that is not true. Tushtarat indra. Ur it indra stashtarak indra stashtarak ur. Dostashtarak indra hat andra ashtarak indra ok urhet indra stashtarak ur. Ur et andra at indra et ishtarak indra ak arhashtara ak andra. Ur et andra stashtarak indra. Ushte kinia na kukuea na kia na kua ni kinia na ia na kia na kua shte ni kinia na ine na ine na ine na ine kia na kua shte ene kia na anak ukua ia ukunu ukua na kia ada hashtag ina ukua et anara et indra di stashtarat ashtarak ur et andra hat adri stashtarak andra ak arihatana urhat andra stashtarak indra at indra ak indra ak et ishtara ak andra ak arhat andra urhat andra stashtarak indra at andra. Ukue akuno kua ek ia ukue estakine ek ia ukue ustakine ek hineke ua ukunoa ua nakia na akua ustakinia na kua uru ua kia na kue sashakia kua noa. Just being open to receive whatever is most needed in this now moment. Breathing in and out. Long inhale, long exhale. Kind of letting this marinate for a moment. Settling into the body, into the breath. Still some energies coming through, guys. I'm just kind of letting it happen. And as we place these codes into your field, our field of oneness, we invite you to access more of you, more of who you are, more of your access points, access codes, allowing a recalibration in your frequency hub. Let it sparkle. You are loved. You are blessed. And so it is. so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Namaste. In love and light. Thank you guys.